Hi everyone and welcome to the Upside Down. Freaky is a body switch movie between a serial killer called the Blissfield Butcher and a teenage girl named Millie. Definitely sounded like an interesting plot to me. The trailer, especially the first one, looked very good and I was definitely excited to check this one out, and I am glad that I went to the theater so I can let you guys know what I thought. Not only will this be a review for Freaky, but it will also be an experience video on my first time back at the theater since March. Before I get to all of that though, here are my social media handles. Please like and follow the Upside Down on all social media platforms so you can stay updated on my videos. There will be links in the description below and of course on my channel page. Now, let's get freaky. Now let's get to Freaky. So Freaky, let me start with the director, Christopher Landon. I thought he does a great job directing here. He's directed both Happy Death Day films before this. And I love that he releases, he probably doesn't have anything to do with it, but the Happy Death Days both released on different Friday the 13th, and then this one, of course, is releasing November 13th of 2020, Friday the 13th. By the way, happy Friday the 13th, everybody. So I do like that all these films that he's directed have released on those days. They definitely fit, I think. And this one is set on Friday the 13th anyway, so it definitely fits in with the day. So this was a pretty effective movie for the most part. The horror was actually pretty good, but I definitely want to get to the slasher element of that horror and say that it was just excellent. Like, there was some violent and gory and bloody kills in this movie. Great kills, greatly executed, really well done here. It was very violent, just so you know. It's rated R for violence and, of course, language. I loved the opening scene. As a matter of fact, I think that most slasher fans will love this opening scene. It's an ode to slashers, but it's also kind of parodying them. It feels like Scream, Halloween, and of course Friday the 13th. I definitely appreciated that aspect of it. It was such a cool scene to see, and it set the bar high for the rest of the movie. So let's get to the rest of the movie. Did it live up to that bar set in the opening scene? So first of all, I want to say Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton do a great job here. I especially loved Vince Vaughn as the Blissfield Butcher, and then of course when Millie and him switch bodies, he's Millie in the Blissfield Butcher's in Vince Vaughn's body. So it's really awesome to see that. He was very funny here. Really good acting chops here. The best I've seen him actually in a while. I'm a fan of him. I've always been a fan of him actually, for the most part. It's really funny just to see this big, strong guy acting like a teenage girl. It reminded me, of course, of Jack Black in the recent Jumanji films. I will say I think I enjoyed Jack Black. Jack Black's performance of a teenage girl a little better. I wish we got more Vince Vaughn here. That, I think, is a flaw in this film. I just wish that we saw more of him as Millie. And I actually wish we saw more of him as the Blissful Butcher before, so we have something to compare it to. You don't see him too much, and when we do, he's in a mask, and he's not saying anything. So I do wish we saw more of his character as himself, and then more of him even as Millie. Catherine Newton did a good job. I don't think she was as good as him, but she did well with what she was given. I loved her friends for the most part. They were little. Some of them were one-dimensional. Some of the supporting characters, they didn't have much going on, or they had subplots that just didn't add anywhere, that didn't go anywhere. I thought the mom and the sister were just okay. I thought we could have done without some of their plots. I understood why they put them in there, but still, I didn't think they really ended up anywhere. But for the most part, good characters, good actors and actresses in this film. The horror elements, other than slasher, the slasher's the main event here, I think. But there were some suspenseful scenes and there were some jump scares in this film that I wasn't really expecting, especially after the Happy Death Day films, which have like one or maybe two. They don't have much. They don't really have much scares. They're more comedies, I would say. And this one has some comedy in it. Some very funny moments. One in the back of the car. And then one at Josh, so one at Josh's house, Josh is her best friend and he's gay, and one at his house, let's just say with another character tied up, and the mom walks in. It was very funny stuff, I thought. And the other part is with Vince Vaughn's character as Millie, and then a character named Booker. They're in the back seat of a car, and some funny things transpire. I really liked those scenes. There were some other funny one-liners. There were some comedy that didn't hit. Some of it hit, and honestly, I kind of wish there was more comedy. I kind of was expecting this to be a funnier film than it was, but it was still pretty good. It was still pretty funny. I definitely, again, highly recommend this for the slasher stuff alone and for Vince Vaughn, I would say. Really good bloody kills. So, I thought Christopher Landon, like I said, did a good job directing. However, and even though I know I just said that I wish there was more comedy, I would like to see him direct basically just a slasher horror film. I think he would do a great job, just evident by the slasher stuff in here, the suspenseful stuff that are in here, in the Happy Death Day films. I think he would be good doing that with little to no comedy. You know, just like Halloween, Scream. Scream has comedy and Scream's a parody of the genre, but still. And Friday the 13th, I think he would do a really good job directing something like that. Although I do love the idea of taking a comedy idea or a different film idea and putting horror elements in it, like he's done with Happy Death Day, is kind of a horror version of Groundhog Day. This one is, of course, like Freaky Fridays and other body-switching movies with the horror element in there, which really is what got me interested in this. So yeah, I wasn't as impressed with this film as I initially thought I was going to be. I am glad I checked it out in the theater, which I will get to my theater experience in just a minute. But first, again, here are my social media handles. Please like and follow The Upside Dan on all these social media platforms. You don't want to miss out. Updates are coming from these social media platforms. So, I will get to my score for Freaky in just a minute, but first let me tell you about my theater experience. It was a very good experience back to the theater. I have not been to the theater since March when I saw The Way Back with Ben Affleck, and that film was okay. But anyway, I have not been here since March. Obviously, most of those months, these were closed, especially in my state. But I was excited to go back, a little hesitant, but I was comfortable here. AMC, I thought, did a great job keeping everything clean. I walked in, you have to wear your mask the whole time, even in the auditorium, unless you are eating or drinking, which I think is a good rule, and surprisingly, pretty much everyone I saw was actually following that rule. Unless they were eating, they had their mask on. The same with me. I ordered my snacks ahead of time. I got popcorn, a drink, and a candy this time, just to celebrate being back at the movie theater. So they come, I go in, I have my mask on, everyone else has their mask on, and they give you a bag of your stuff, which I thought was a good addition. I mean, it's not covered or anything. But anyway, and then you go to the concessions, the drink line, and an employee fills your drink for you, which I thought was pretty nice. And then you go to your auditorium. And they actually had disinfectant wipes right outside the auditorium. The seats were cleaned. I went in, I sat down, and I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, everyone was following the procedures. I actually felt very comfortable there. There's probably a dozen people in my auditorium. It was a fun time, and I'm definitely glad I went back. So anyway, what would I rate Freaky? Freaky gets an 8 out of 10 from me. A new rating system, as I've said, is coming soon. I am still trying to work out some things, some graphics, and just think of an overall idea that'll be unique to my channel. So stay tuned for that. I recommend Freaky. It was a fun time. If you've liked what I've had to say, like this video, comment on this video, share my videos and my channel with your family and friends, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and come to the Upside Dan.